You know who's my favorite flower guy?
Who?
Orlando Bloom.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week, or where we usually do that.
Nice save.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. My name is Josh, the Tau Tickler Michaels.
What the fuck?
And I've been aborified. And today, as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts.
Megan, the Aborable Preen.
Aw.
Cody, I don't know, tree guy, Decker.
The Boring Decker.
There we go.
All right, I'm gonna take this stuff off. Welcome to the
Keep the tape on.
Yeah, the tape. It looks like
I actually like the look of it.
It's oh my god. I think I ripped some eyebrow hair.
You definitely
out.
did not. Well, you could use it. Do you pluck your eyebrows?
You
should.
I used to. I never used to, but I've had people do it for me. And everybody always notices right away, and it's weird. Anyway, welcome to the final Hell's Paradise Part 3 volume done. If you don't know what a volume done is, it's where we review a series in its entirety. This is Part 3 of our Hell's Paradise review. So if you haven't seen Part 1 or Part 2, you can click up here somewhere.
Parts work too. Jump into Part 3 being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, because there will be spoilers for Hell's Paradise in its entirety in this episode. We're covering chapter 67 through 127. That's volumes 8 through 13. And if you don't want anything spoiled for you, then go read the series and then come back.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it to yourself.
But if you do want to do it to yourself, you're in the right place.
Yeah, if you don't care, if you don't give a fuck.
No, but if you're here for Hell's Paradise.
Oh, right.
You're
Hell's
in for
Paradise.
a fucking ride, mate. Yeah?
So we finished the series. And I felt a little underprepared last time. So I went ahead and I chronologically made some bullet points, highlighted some important moments of every chapter, so we don't skip anything or forget anything. But I want to know, sort of as a whole, now that you guys have finished the series, where you're at with it. We also made some predictions that I want to kind of follow up on.
And we had a really funny comment that's saying, like, for future volume dones. Oh, is this your guys' comment for the winner circle?
It doesn't
maybe.
Just do it.
No, it's
okay.
not.
I'll find another one.
Okay. No, he said we should make, like, if it is like this type of story where there's people dying or things happen, we should like make a bet in that episode, and then the next episode we have to do a punishment or something.
And the loser will be sent to an island to fight trees.
And deities.
Trees and deities.
And
that's actually a really good idea, though. I think that's something that we should do. We should take bets, and then we should suffer the consequences on camera. Yeah, shout out Bizarre Gold for that great suggestion.
Which on one of them I was almost right, and then they did a thing, and I was like, yeah. Which is part of the thing is like really my perspective of this series is it's much lighter than you think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a lot lighter, and I love the series.
Liked.
Yeah, no, I love the series. There are things I don't love about it, but there was a little bit of a cop out at the end.
There were a couple of cop outs.
You know what it felt like? Fucking Batman and Superman when he hears about his mom's name. We say
Martha.
Martha, and that's all. Hilarious. That's what I compared it to.
I know what you're talking about.
The biggest cop out. Like what?
Yeah,
that's it.
I know what you're talking about, but I do agree that moment was a little bit of a, I don't know if cop out's the right word, but it was a little bit of a cliche.
It was.
The cop out moment was the very end, and that to me felt to me like when you're in a relationship, right? And you break up with your significant other for a day, right? And then they cheat on, they sleep with someone else.
Yeah, and they're like, we were broken up.
And then they're like, but I never cheated on you. Technically, I never cheated on you.
You had them lined up and ready.
Yeah, exactly.
This series, I realized it was just an anime like heist. It was a manga heist thing. I was expecting like a battle island.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't. It was like, it was full of moments of like, and then plan C will be this, and then someone goes in, I'll do this, but I'll never do this, and then they do that thing. And that's what the series was.
Yeah, I do want to go through it roughly beat by beat. We don't have to linger on everything for very long, but I did write down some strengths and weaknesses that I think the series overall kind of had. I also wrote down who my favorite character is now, having completed the series, and it's changed.
I have
yeah, thank God.
I didn't know who my favorite character was, and now it's the same person, even though they have the least amount of presence in the story.
Yeah.
There's just one guy that I'm like, he was the best.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Tenza, right?
Tenza, yeah.
Tenza, yeah.
Because he still gets like moments as the series goes on. I'm like, man, that guy rules.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say, Jika, still pretty cool. He
yeah.
He had a moment where he was like not cool.
Yeah.
And then he came back to being cool again. But I guess I'm just going to say it. My favorite character for this entire series is actually two characters. It's the brothers.
Oh, that's a
yeah.
cop-out.
It's a cop-out.
You know that. That's a cop-out when you give a rule and then you don't do it.
Yeah. In the spirit of Hell's Paradise.
I don't think mine's changed. I still love Yuzurina like so much, but it's either between her or Tamiya. Like I really laugh at Tamiya. Like he's hilarious. Like he's made me laugh.
Which one's Tamiya?
The dragon.
Oh yeah, that guy's
the Blade Dragon. I just
he's
call him Blade
fucking.
Dragon.
He's awesome. He's such a cool character. I love him.
They all become. I become a little more endeared to them all. I like them more as it goes on, and that's one of the strengths I wrote down too. Is I wrote down its strengths lie in its characters, not necessarily its character designs, but its cast of convicts and their bodyguards, each with their own backstory that's more moving than the last, and in concept and execution of that concept. Right.
Yeah. No, the weakest part is the fighting.
And that's what I wrote down. That's exactly what I wrote down. Its weakness lies in its power-up fighting style, which to its credit isn't in the protagonist. It doesn't happen with the protagonist, but it does.
Then it does.
But not as much as it does with the villains. The villains have this very sort of typical, stereotypical, final form thing
unbeatable thing where like they have to spend 3 pages in fighting one person.
Then they go,
one form. Yeah. You
And
thought that
now
was it.
I guess I'll play seriously now, and then they turn into a tree.
They say, play Siri. They go, hey Siri,
Hey Siri.
Oh
play
God,
my
yeah.
ultimate form.
Siri, play my ultimate form. That's
Siri,
fun.
play my ultimate form.
But do you agree though that like with Gabimaru, like even though he uses his ninjutsu and he has different styles and versions of that, it's never a power up. All their power ups come kind of from within and their own sort of growth.
Well, he does get this, like the brothers' power up. He gets the same.
Yeah, but
And then also every fight where they'll be like, okay, I'll have to use all of my moves. I'm just seeing like razor fist kick.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they
with-
name the moves. Yeah,
with
it's too much.
Whirling dragon uppercut. I'm like, so
Too
you,
much.
you kicked him and punched him. Okay.
Yeah.
Too much.
And that's gonna be real cool in the anime. But
That'd be
yeah.
great. And I love it. It's like, oh, if this was a video game, that would be a combo. That would be a power. Oh, what should I unlock? I'll unlock razor shin kick.
Yeah.
And then I gotta use that on a guy.
Yeah, I think the anime is going to be amazing. I can't wait. I don't know how they're going to do some things because there's a lot of, especially later on. I mean, some of these.
Well, no one's
going
gonna
to
be naked. No one's gonna be naked.
Most of these monsters have titties.
They're gonna have leaves.
But I'm thinking of
as
one.
bras.
Yeah, that's a good point. They'll have that Adam and Eve cover up where
They'll have flowers
Yeah.
coming out of their.
no,
nipples
they just won't have
areas.
nipples.
Yeah,
true,
Yeah,
they won't
that's
be
what
there
they
at
do.
all.
They won't
Or there'll
have
be a
nipples.
nice like smoggy smoke.
Very true. Very true.
Or they'll give her like an overall.
An overall.
Or just give them one big nipple.
Really commit to it.
Cover from here.
Yeah,
to
like
here.
you get one. And they're like, okay, we gotta
Really commit to it.
plan this out.
But yeah,
Imagine that.
that'd be hilarious, and
Be insane.
I'm voting for that to definitely happen. Who were your favorite? So your favorite character stayed the same.
The brother, the blonde brother,
Chobe. Yeah.
He seemed like of the alive main characters, because the guy I liked the most, he wasn't really a main character, he was a side character. So he was the one that like he had the most emotion and depth and like stuff happening to him that I liked, and like there was never story elements that I felt like, why are you doing this? Like with the main character, which happened, I counted those times. They're like, maybe there is something going on. Like either there is. What are you
Oh
talking?
my
Yeah,
god!
either there is or there
oh
isn't. Yeah.
They
my
kept
god!
everybody kept
Oh.
pushing it.
And he's just like, stop. This is annoying. And they're like, oh, I guess that didn't work. And then you're like, okay, so yes, it's not true. And then someone else says it, and you're like, what the fuck?
And then
Well,
someone
yeah.
goes, I can confirm. Okay, so now, and then it's like, but if you think about it, all right. Okay,
Well, that's when I knew that his wife had to be real.
Yeah, there's
because
no way.
there's no way that everybody kept telling him that she wasn't, and then she actually would turn out to not be.
But
I
it,
just
like it
don't-
wasn't shocking that she, because like this idea that she wasn't real was brought up like halfway through
Exactly.
the thing, and I'm like, oh, is she not? But like, it's way too late for me to start like wondering that.
However, I did kind of like the it's not really a twist. I wouldn't call it a twist, but their explanation of it. I liked her reveal as being real. And I like this like final form of manipulation that was told to Gabimaru, but I just wish it would have happened a lot faster. I wish we would have got there a lot quicker.
And it didn't need to
Maybe
happen
once.
twice. It didn't need to
Exactly.
happen twice. It could have happened where the ninjas come up and they go on the roof and then they show the dad and the daughter like they whatever shadow form. Like that should have been it. It shouldn't be this other fucking Gabimaru simp explaining too like
Yeah.
she's not real, and it's like we already know that she is. Like stop
Yeah.
this madness.
Because like if she wasn't, that would be interesting. So then the other thing becomes, it's like, what if there was stuff going on, and then the reveal is actually no, it's entirely what we said it was at the beginning.
And that,
So
that
I don't
was
like.
my point.
I'm just leaving that going. Oh, okay. So everyone was just like, we'll really try to fuck with him on this. We'll try to tell him that they don't even exist.
And that was my point in part 2. And people can say like, oh, it was for Gabimaru. It was a test for Gabimaru, but like he never questioned it. He never for a second.
Even when his memory went away, he just forgot about
He's
her.
like, I
Not that
forgot.
he
Yeah.
didn't. Like, he remembered her and said, maybe she doesn't exist. Then I'd be like, oh, maybe she doesn't exist if he's questioning. There was never a question.
Yeah.
in his
He's
mind.
always
What?
just like, no.
She
Yeah, yeah.
exists.
The person who doubts it is his friend, and she's
Exactly.
like, oh, well, I haven't. I think they mentioned it. No, she's like, well, I have met her. So like, she was getting convinced that his wife doesn't exist, even though she has also met. It was like, I don't know what that.
What was it for?
I
Yui just
feel-
doesn't have a presence, I think.
It
She's
felt-
just not there.
It feels like the story was going to be, she's not real, and then they're gonna get together, and then it was
Thank God.
decided that no, but now you still have to like, okay, so we can't just like have one person be like, maybe she doesn't exist, and have that not go anywhere. So let's have everyone
Everybody.
start bringing it up, and then we'll just say that's a ninja tactic, is to just say your wife isn't real.
Yeah.
Can I say, though? Ship Till I Die,
Uh-huh.
Sagari, and Yuta Hina.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know which ones those are.
So you're shipping the Asaimon Sagari
Yes.
and Yuzuriha the slime
yes,
girl.
Yes.
I could get behind that.
Which one's
Yeah.
the samurai? The slime girl and who?
The slime
And
girl and Gabimaru's handler.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting line. She's like, I don't know if that was a joke or if that's like the actual thing.
Yeah.
You're catching vibes.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
then you do go through the stories like, oh, they always sort of got along.
They're
It's
very,
interesting.
very close, and they only got closer when everyone's, parted ways. When you see that at the end, when they're like walking together, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, the
are they?
the
I mean-
Are
epilogue chapters were when I
needs men?
finally realized what this story was.
I mean, they did a whole little Sandlot thing at the end where they just kind of showed where everybody was
You
at.
get a text of like,
Loved it.
and they went on to do this, and I was actually like, oh, that's
My
nice.
heart, I felt that deep in my heart, and yeah, we
Can
can
I
talk
say-
about it.
We'll
but
talk more about it at the end, but can I say there was a moment where I thought, are they setting up a spin-off series right now? Because I had only got a couple pages into that final chapter
Oh.
and saw the reveal
Oh.
and thought like they're setting up this whole.
Yeah,
I thought you were
manga
talking about
series.
the end of
The
last
final
one.
final epilogue is because like there was stuff going on towards the end. I'm like, are you not gonna deal with that?
Right.
And then at the end, they're like, oh, I guess they just didn't. And like, but why? Yeah, that was another one. Like that didn't seem satisfying at all.
And then we have future
Oh yeah.
or current day.
Current day, and I want to say, man. You know,
I want to say, man.
I want to say, man. I think
Get
it's like right now because
Asema?
because that. Oh yeah.
I don't
That's
get it.
definitely what I was going
Yeah.
for.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
you were doing it on purpose.
No, I was.
So wink at me.
I'm just winking at the camera. But I think that guy, look, I understand that a lot of teachers teach class online, but it's a little more suspicious now that he's teaching online classes, when we're living in this pandemic and everybody's going to school online. I don't know how recently that chapter was written, but I think it had to have been written during the pandemic, right? So I think he's saying this is now. The mangaka is saying, like, this is now. These Tenzin are coming back. You thought coronavirus was bad. Get ready for these,
It just makes me sad because, like, everyone's dead.
I mean, everybody, from back then.
Yeah, but like usually in a story,
sucked for you.
no, but usually in a story, the story ends and those characters live in that world forever.
They sort of get to eternally live in the memories.
But
of the
then that
story
ending just solidified their
Okay.
deaths.
No, but it didn't solidify their death necessarily. I mean, it did.
It
but
solidified.
they lived long, happy lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can still go back and see what they've been up to.
So where did we leave off with this story?
Okay, well, we left off
With
right
him being
around-
like, all right, I'll betray them if you keep my brother. And then they're like, all right, we're going to fight. And then like some other asshole comes in and he's like, I'm going to kill everyone here. And
Here's the thing. We left off right in the middle of fighting. And what this manga kind of does around where we left off was just become battle after battle.
which
after
is cool because
battle.
we
Yeah.
don't really have to talk about a lot of this manga because a lot of it is like, and then he fights
Exactly.
again.
It
And that's
started.
why
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think Volume 8 started with Tofa, the girl one, the girl sister one,
Yeah, Taofa
fighting
and,
the dragon
and Jufa.
Fuji.
Yeah, so where
Jufa,
we left off is I wrote down kind of just like the major plot points. So we have Gabimaru and Yuzuriha versus two of the Tenzin or one Tenzin, the Tenzin named
Jufa?
Ran.
Oh, Ran.
They're against Ran, and basically Gabimaru reveals that he kept one of Mudan's stingers, and he's gonna inject himself.
He gets the flower power too.
Yes,
That was
Flower
the thing,
power.
because you were saying like
That's
upgrades,
what I
like the
said.
protagonist. He then immediately gets the upgrade, like, oh, you'll die. I'm like, he's not gonna die. He's gonna get it. He's gonna master it, and he does.
Yeah. But I thought this was really cool because it kind of, there's this moment with Mei and Sagari, and they are talking about how Chobi was able to harness his power and how he was able to control it and how the reason why it didn't overtake him. And it was because he was on the verge of death and he had something to live for, in a nutshell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm falling more and more in love with these brothers as the story goes on. And that's why at the end, when I thought they were doing a spinoff, I was like, I'm here for it all day.
Love that little.
That was probably the most interesting story for the characters to end off.
because they're still
like
like
a dynamic and everything. That was like fun.
and they're
Yeah.
still evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, I
they
love
didn't. Everyone is like, okay, we're gonna live a simple life. We're not actually evil. We're not criminals. And then they're like, no, we want to still be criminals.
Yeah.
Like, we fight gangs.
It was. I know. Cody has his like issues with the Mandalorian, but it was kind of very much that like scene where like Boba Fett sits down at the end of Mandalorian. We're like, are we getting a Boba Fett spinoff series? I mean that because he's still a villain, he's still a badass. That's how I had the same feeling when I read that. Like I'm here for this all day. But so then you're right, Megan. Then the Blade Dragon, Fuchi, Chobe, Toma. They team up against Jufa and Tao Fa, and they give that little signal with the braid.
That was cool when they're like, hey, brother. I liked where he's like,
Oh yeah.
you guys took care of my little brother, right? And it was like, oh, this guy is like a genuinely.
And he's just giving them compliments
Yeah.
and like
And they're like, all right,
they're
join
just
me.
loving and they're so sweet.
They didn't hesitate like for a second.
No.
They gave each other the signal and then immediately started, fucking these Tenzin up.
Yeah, and the brother gets his own little smirk, like evil smile, and that's when you're like, oh, this guy, he's not just the little brother dragged along to schemes. He also is like,
Yeah.
he's also a criminal.
And then what I was hoping would happen happened, where we get to see more of the Tenzin backstory and their
Yeah.
lives, and like that shit was dark.
Yeah.
Especially with fucking Taufa and Jufa. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
You're like, damn. These children were like, okay,
Well, I mean,
So yeah, your role is going to be doing this.
Doing this for 1,000 years with your sister.
don't add the sister part, but
They're
other than
brother and
that,
sister.
you know,
And
other than
clones.
And clones
Step
of each
clones.
other.
that- step clones. Yeah.
No,
fuck
they're
yeah.
definitely related.
Yeah. By spirit.
And she got just more fucked up as the years went on, and Jufa kind of just followed along with her lead. Like, Jufa was the one that like kind of had the most humanity at first, because he was like, this is kind of fucked up. They all kind of felt it was fucked up, and then they all went off the deep end at one point.
Yeah,
because
but
they
that's
just had to accept it.
yeah, and that's what I really liked about that just small moment where
Mm-hmm.
she's smiling, and I forget who asks her, but like,
Yeah,
are
she's
you-
putting the bait in the boat. She's putting the body in the boat to send to the human
oh well,
world.
yeah, and that was kind of, I think, Cody, you had that realization towards the end of our part 2 episode where you put that together, like, oh, they're sending these out as bait to lure other humans to this island.
Yeah.
But then a couple chapters later, they flat out say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I thought that the slime lady was going to die sacrificing herself after a selfless act. And then because after Gabi, he's a flower guy now, and then they fight, and they're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
still not enough, and then she's like, I'll do it, and then she gets wounded, and like, I'm just gonna chill, and then you
Yeah.
go, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is when characters start dying.
And then you find out it wasn't so cute. And then you find out she actually had a sister.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
made up like, oh
She
yeah, my
made-
dying sister, but then she is like, yeah.
Yeah, it was real. It was
I
real the whole
honestly was
time.
like, no. I really thought that was it.
I mean, I thought it was it too, but I thought it was a good way to go.
Good way to go.
I thought it was a good way to go, and
I
I
agree.
as much as I like her and wanted her to survive, I was fine with the way that she went out. She went out like a badass, and it felt nice.
It felt real to the story. Like, there's characters that have died, and that's it.
Yeah.
And what they do with that was like I was like, oh, okay, so this is like no stakes at all.
Yeah. Towards the end, it did get a bit safe.
Yeah, and that's my issue, and that's the cop out for me is the
Yeah.
is the end
Which
with the
it-
fortunes.
I mean,
and
if we want to
everything.
talk about like it turns out to not be a sacrifice, and the way it is, it felt like a parody of that, where she's just like, no, I was just resting.
Yeah, I mean, she is that character.
Which I mean, if you were reading that week by week,
You'd be like, what the fuck?
that would have taken like a month for you to be like to get to. No, I was just joking.
yeah, and she, she comes back in like kind of a badass way, but
It was
it was a little underwhelming.
It was
as far
just-
as like a
yeah.
comeback is considered.
Yeah, she wasn't like, it wasn't a cool moment where she like defeated someone and they're like, oh, you're back. Or like, just, there was, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Sagadi didn't even like know that she had really died. I
Well,
don't
see,
think.
no
and I
one
think
else
that's the
besides
thing.
Gabby even knew there was a thing going on.
And,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too, is even Gabimaru didn't think she died because she told him like, I'm just gonna rest a bit, and I genuinely believe when I read it, at least, that he believed her, that she was just resting and that she was gonna be right back. I don't think he put together that she was dying. So yeah, when she comes back, even the characters are like, cool.
There's no
Awesome.
like, we thought you were gone. It was like, yeah, okay, then you said.
I-
all right,
Took a little longer than I thought, but hey,
I
you're
guess
here.
that plays into like her character where she wouldn't want people to be like pitying her that she almost died.
Sure,
So
yeah.
it just shows
Yeah.
her in a light that like she is fine and she continues to be fine even though she's on the brink of death. So I give it that credit,
Yeah, but
it was just thrown away and
In
not very
character-
cool.
Yeah, it makes sense to not tell that you thought maybe you were going to die,
Yeah.
but then but like all in story wise, it's like like very like I don't know. You go in thinking this is going to be like this huge like high stakes thing, and then like by having her just be like, I said I was resting
yeah.
after having like my whole dramatic like monologue with myself. And I'm back, and I also got a new dress, which was funny. I like her recurring thing of constantly
Yeah.
getting a new dress.
They're like, it's
somehow.
not even your dress.
Yeah.
She's like, they ruined my favorite dress.
And look, I'm glad she came back. I'm glad that she survived.
It was just that was another big moment for me to realize, like, okay, this is not a people dying type story.
yeah.
Later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I also liked the mustache dragon swordman, and when the moment where he teams up with the medicine kid,
Yeah.
where they comment on like how well they're fighting together and
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's right around, that time. I'm going to just power through some things until we get to a point where we want to stop and talk about some stuff. But yeah, Fuchi and the Blade Dragon, they go, they have that flashback to them in the cave learning about Tao, and they talk about how they need to see things to believe them because they're men of science or, whatever. And so, basically the Blade Dragon realizes that he can kind of feel Tao, but he's distracted by his eyes. And so he has blood in one, and then he just slices, his other eye.
Badass.
Super badass.
He goes, for Tao, I don't want to fucking hear Tao ever again. How am I going to remember all that confusing shit?
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Kind of steals Shion's thing, though, am I right?
Oh, yeah. No, you find out what fucking happened to Shion.
I loved his background.
Oh, I know.
Loved it too.
Shion or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
blind
Shion.
guy.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to beat her ass.
I did
That's
this
what I'm
because
gonna
of
do.
scars.
Oh my god, he's such a baby, and she's just like, okay, honey, stay still.
Yeah. Which is another thing of the two characters have like these like noticeable dramatic scars, and they're both fake.
Well, I think one was more real than the other.
Well, they were both done for the effect of having scars.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like because they were like, oh, he was born blind, but like this is gonna be more believable. I thought it was like the mom blinded him to
That's
be like.
what I thought.
I thought that too.
I was like, are you fucking kidding? And then I turned to the next page, and it was like, I was always blind. I was like, oh, okay.
Thank God.
Thank God, because I was about to beat your mom's ass.
This was just for the added effect, so people could be like,
Yeah.
wow, what happened to him? You'd be like, you can only imagine.
Yeah. His backstory, all of these backstories were super cool.
Dragon guy, you get a backstory. I was like, okay.
Yeah, his backstory, a little less cool, but still very cool.
Still very, I like him, so I wanted more.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah, here's something that I had a question about too. It's around this time that they're all teaming up and they're fighting this Tensen, and Toma.
Now, are you a fan of him because of his hook hand? He is now part metal.
He needs to be more metal for Megan to be into it.
I don't know. Maybe. I liked it before.
Did you guys pick up on this, and am I missing something? Because it was around this time, as I was going through the chapters, that it was stated that to Chobe I think
Pick one.
I think it's Chobe. Yeah, pick one. You're right. You're
Chobe.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Chobe.
It was stated to him when he was, being a double agent. Wow, I saw that. And people listening and watching didn't get to see it. Yeah. But I'm gonna move past it, and it was a joke at my expense that they made. Right
No,
now.
I did that, and he pointed at you.
Right.
And it was on point.
You fucking
And moving on because we're trying to let's cut to the brasses.
Basically there's Toma has a bad omen connected to him, but I never saw this come to fruition. There's a fortune told later on that two men and one woman will survive.
Only survive.
But then before that, there's this other omen when they're doing this little ritual, this future seeing ritual, that Toma has they say Toma has a bad omen connected to him. But I don't remember this ever.
Which one's Toma?
Being paid off. The brother.
The black-haired brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys? Because I know what happens to them, but I don't
know.
I think maybe they were doing mind games on him.
Possibly.
It might have been when he thought he was gonna die. Maybe
they could have done that to manipulate him into like helping.
Because their plan was like, all right, so we got this guy. He stuck with us after we tortured him, so I guess that means he's down. So, all right, so yeah, they're all gonna die. You can see we tell the future. Oh, your brother's in trouble too. So like you need us to protect him.
Yeah, I think that's maybe
because he seemed like I don't even think he got hit in the entire series.
Yeah, he got away. Pretty lucky.
But also, I don't know if it's a thing of by telling your future, you're able to change it. So, like, if he was like, oh yeah, he's gonna die, but if his brother was told that, he would be like, well, I'm gonna be there.
Right.
Which he does do some stuff that's like a little above and beyond even for him.
Yeah.
So that might be it. But
he's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He takes that. Okay, I drew a bottle and it doesn't look necessarily.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Like
very
a
phallic,
bottle,
dude.
but
it looks very phallic.
Because you put like a base next to the bottle.
Well, like, why would you draw it like that?
And you like.
When I finished it, I went, oh
You added a tip to it.
Yeah,
It's not a
very
tip.
weird.
It's just the way
Is
I
that
drew it.
the base
And, like,
of the
That's
bottle?
him
Yeah,
drinking
dude.
the bottle,
Come
you know, when he takes out. I said hashtag spleen check.
I mean,
Is he red than a spleen?
I can't even like hear what you're saying right now because I'm so fixated.
I don't know
on,
if you guys can see it.
I mean, it looks so
Point
phallic.
to it.
You can't see it here. I mean,
Maybe no. It looks like a cigarette. Maybe sure.
It's a big cigarette.
I'm so distracted.
He's like, I
But
said
yeah,
it's a bottle. Don't come for me.
I mean, the fact that it looks uncircumcised too is just wild to me.
It's
You don't see that?
a bottle. Okay.
Sure. But yeah, that is where he pulls it out of his spleen. And
Oh yeah, he's like, I got one final trick.
Yeah, and everyone's like, holy shit.
Which
and
I-
he's like,
Gangster.
nab this shit.
I like the playing with powers because it is like if you could regenerate, you could just store shit inside you.
And I like the twist that you think he's gonna drink it or consume it, but it's actually the weaker Tao, the Tao that is the Tenzin's weakness.
Weak juice?
Weak juice.
Weak juice.
It's the Tenzin's weak juice, and he pours it all over his head to make him weak.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like the cleverest
Yeah, that's exactly
one.
what this is.
Look, and I'm gonna take
The
a photo
bottle
of
is
that.
weak juice.
What I'm gonna have to look at the timestamp right now, and look at the timestamp, and I'm gonna have to take a photo of that.
I thought he really looked like Bakugo in that moment too.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to just include it maybe up here somewhere.
You guys, please don't make fun of my drawings. I tried my best to make it look like a bottle, and then I realized it looked like after that. I just anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty badass moment.
And then we're already one Tenzin down. Taufa's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, they the fights are the people get like a power up either like uniting as friends or eating flowers or something, and then one of the Tenzin dies.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens over and over and over and over, and thankfully
the point where
the
it's
story
like
picks up again.
Yeah, it's like because I guys was like the point isn't the fight; it's what leads to the fight and how the fight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm watching it and then they go, "All right, now I'm a super flower guy," and then he's like, "Well, let me absorb even more Tao, and now I'm a double flower guy."
Yeah.
And then they go like, "Well, this reminds me of my childhood," in which I'm like, "Oh, that's a very nice background."
Yeah.
I really liked Taufa and Jufa's story and their
I did
deaths. They felt really complete to me, more so than like any of the other Tenzin or like I don't know. They just maybe some of the characters, honestly, because they really showed like what they went through and then their complete journey to like how they're dead now and they're together and like it was really well done.
Even May, I don't think ended up having like that in depth of a.
No,
of
you
a
see her though.
backstory.
You see her when
Yeah.
she was like older, which was a nice touch. She's like, "Oh, you care about someone." So she's like their mother figure almost because she was older than all of them. So that was cool to see.
Yeah. It's around this time too that we find out Rain's first plan. That's not actually their true plan. But the first plan was to just take a boat full of paradise butterflies and unleash them on Japan.
Kill me already.
And and just turn everybody into
I
flowers.
completely forgot about that.
That was disgusting. They showed them
Oh
again.
yeah, I forgot you're terrified of butterflies.
Ew,
And these butterflies
They're
have human faces.
even
But now we know that you would have been the survivor in an event like this because everyone would be like, "Oh, it's a butterfly," and then you
Yeah.
turn into a tree.
Bro, no person with a sane mind would look at that thing and be like, "Oh, this is
It's got
fine."
like a face and a mustache.
Yeah, it has like a
Gross,
face.
gross. It's got a hairy face. Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
disgusting.
But this is another badass kind of Tenzin fight. Not all of them have these badass moments, but this one was, I think, to me at least, badass. It was Shion versus Zhu Jin, and it was basically where he says like, I don't have enough power to beat this guy.
Yeah, I don't have a counter Tao to this, so
I'm just going
I'm protecting
to
a child.
I'm just gonna slice him 1,000 times. Because eventually he'll need more Tao to regenerate and he'll run out of.
Yeah, because
of
everyone
Tao.
else is like, okay, so you're metal and wood is weak to metal. There's some of the thing like I don't know if that tracks, but everyone except for the blind master, or he's just like, hopefully I don't run into that person.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, I can still cut it in half, and that's all he's been doing. Well, everyone else is having their like, fused 1,000 into 2 trees now. He's just been cutting this thing in half the entire time, and it has no real counter move.
And that kind of sucked, honestly. I expected so much more from new to guy.
I mean, she took a backseat this entire series.
Seriously,
Yeah.
like I wanted some more badass moments. Like just because she's a kid doesn't mean she's not badass. Like they barely showed her fighting, and she's just standing around scared, and like it was kind of a bummer. I expected more from her.
Yeah, and the way I kind of read it too is I don't even know if she really was a fighter. She
No,
seemed
she
like
was
she
just
was
a child.
Yeah, a child.
Oh.
A child who accidentally offered help to the wrong
I
people.
thought she could fight at least.
And
a
then
little.
I
she
think it was
can,
implied that she got all of her training like on that island from Shion and a little bit from Tenza.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like he was gonna be her sensei, and then that guy was like, "Well, I guess I'll do it now." But yeah, the whole thing with that is that's why he like ran off. Like you're a child. You're here because like you're part of a tribe that is considered like illegal and sentenced to death. Like that she's not like from a warrior race. Even they just have different ideas.
But I agree with Megan. I would have liked to see her do more.
Well, her moment is because he's like, all right, I'm going to stab it, and it's going to dig its thorns into me and make me into a tree, I guess. I'm just going to hold position like this. And but here's my background, by the way. And then and he's just like, just go. And then her moment is like she's running. She's like, no, I'm not running this time, because her thing is she can heal people. So she like goes and is like, we're going to survive this.
Yeah,
time.
and that she does get a really cool moment, and that is probably one of my top 3 moments.
Because we also get more of the original headband guy. That's why he kept being like the best character to me. Because they show his back. Because they show the blind guy's background, and it's always because he's like, yeah, I've always sort of had to lie that I had this like I was in a war as a soldier, but it's literally just for show.
Yeah,
and then he liked that the original guy was just very upfront and honest about who he was, and it was always like, even though I was your sensei,
and he
I
goes,
learned from you,
and yet I aspired to be all that you were. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, and then newer guy's out there, and she's saying like, I know what you're going through. I know what you feel like. I know how it feels to blame it all on yourself, and to feel like you don't even deserve to live for the things that you've done, and then.
Because the thing that pushes, because he was like, the protege shouldn't die for his master. It should have been the other way around. And then she's like, but he went out with a smile when he saw us escaping.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. that's what she says to him.
Like,
I forgot to tell you that. By the way,
completely forgot. In the heat of the moment, I forgot to tell you. Oh, he wanted to do that. He meant to do that.
Huge misunderstanding. But what takes away from this moment? I love that moment. I again, this is my top 3 moments in this. One of my top 3 moments in the series, at least emotionally. But what kind of takes away from that a little bit is their choice. It's such a powerful moment when they realize, like, you know what, all this revenge that we're after, we don't need it. We can. I know. I breathe.
That was like a hiccup yawn.
Yeah. I took in an extra breath. I took in an extra breath. I'm aborifying right now.
Whoa, you're boring.
Oh, I made that joke earlier.
I just said boring though.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So it wasn't a pun.
Not even related to the
It
manga.
wasn't a pun. It was
Just a
just
statement.
real. Fuck me, huh?
No.
All right. All right.
We're in Hell's Paradise now.
We're in Hell's Paradise, mate. That was not Australian.
We've been working on accents
We've been working
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're really trying hard.
Little volume 1 BTS. But what takes away from the moment is it was like a super beautiful moment, but the choice that they make to forego revenge ends up being like the reason that everybody almost died.
It was a dumb thing too, yeah. I mean, it didn't really make sense. There was a
don't
couple
know
of things that
why.
were like, you couldn't figure something else besides just leaving it?
You're just leaving it there to
So,
its own devices?
Yeah, don't you have like some sort of like a ninja set him on fire?
Or, maybe trap them
Ninja set
in
them
some
on
sort of like,
Cage?
yeah, put them in a box. Put them in a cage.
Put him in a to-go box.
Put them in a doggy bag. But they just left the head there, and the
Idiots.
head walks away and ends up fusing with that giant flower that we saw briefly earlier on.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I hate it.
Is that yeah, because the final boss is like, I'm the biggest flower of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I was seriously like, I guess this will be cool when I see it in motion with music and stuff, but it is the fight scenes are pretty generic as far as like, and now I'm even more of what you saw earlier, and I can spawn copies of the other guys you fought. So
And look at my flower.
Yeah. I mean, at least there's this whole there's this idea that this Tenzin is trying to redeem themselves. At least it's not just this like, it is ultimately just another power up, a bigger flower. But at least there's like some sort of motivation for that character to become that.
And the only thing that like really like I was like, okay, same thing over and over and over again. Then we get the new team that comes in. That's when things get more interesting. I love
things
that
pick up a lot.
sequence where they're like, meeting all the criminals and they're naming with their charges and all that. That was such a cool touch. And Sagari and I forget her name, the tall chick.
Oh yeah. I have her. There's a Kiyomaru, and then there is I forget the other girls.
I wrote down the edgy boy.
Yeah,
so
Shugen.
It's Shugen, Jika, Isuzu, and Kiyomaru.
He got more depth than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Who's Shugen?
Yeah. Because he is like genuinely upset when his former teammates are like siding with the criminals.
Yeah, he's all about justice.
Yeah.
So he's not like even though he killed like babies and children, but like
it's for justice.
This is when
right. Right. I mean, he did get like I like
Okay, let me just get this clear. Usually we go right when it's something like funny and feasible for someone to do. I'm not killing.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Moving on.
No, I like what they did with his character. I'm glad he never redeemed himself, and the mangaka never tried to make me feel like he was a good person.
No.
But he did get more depth, which was cool.
It's just like, hey, come join me now. You're like, you don't have to ally with them out of necessity. And he's like, no, and he goes like,
bro.
Okay. Oh wow, okay.
That's when I knew he was fucking insane. And even Dragon Guy was like, "What the fuck did you just do?"
Yeah.
And he's like, I had to do it. I had to fucking do it." And so sad. He's crying as he's killing him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean when he finally
Psycho.
does, kill when Shugen finally does kill Fuchi, I think there's this really cool moment where you realize that the convicts have like officially kind of become the heroes.
Yeah.
And the heroes have become the convicts, or at least the villains, because they're just doing like even the other two Asaimon that show up with him are just following him blindly.
Yeah.
And she has her own cute reason for doing it too, because she had a physique and a skin color that I think a lot of people made fun of, but he called her like compared her skin color to like a rare form of incense that was like very beautiful and very sought after, and he called her like his village's like incense or whatever. So he like turned something that she was bullied for into something beautiful, and so she felt like endeared to him forever after that, and that was cute. I like that.
It's cute but dumb.
Yeah, I mean, because
it was cute.
One nickname, and you're like, yeah, what do you kill babies? You're a good guy.
Well, it wasn't just him. It was the other guy that died a while ago too.
Her brother, yeah.
Her brother, yeah. He was like, gorillas embody the very concept of Bushido, and I was like, that's so cute.
Yeah,
And she when she's getting bullied, she's like, gorillas actually, if you didn't know, are very strong and smart. And she's like, okay, fuck. And the dragon guy's like, yeah. And she's like, you're a fucking monkey too. Shut up.
Yeah, I really did start to like her a lot.
Yeah.
And I wish we could have seen more of her, but
Before
Was it,
and after, yeah.
It was after the big guy and the little guy, when they do their team up, but they both get like mortally wounded, right? And then the little guy like, oh, I have enough medicine to heal one of us, and the guy's like, look, I did my fight, I'm done. And then
Shugen slices him, and it's enough. He survives long enough to patch up the Blade Dragon.
And he's like, why would you patched me up and then you just died?
But then, man, I know why you like him, the Blade Dragon.
Yeah.
Because there's that moment at the very end where he's on the ship. I know we're jumping around, but I just don't want to forget this. There's that moment where he's on the ship, and he realizes that he can't just fight the way he fought before. He's like, because my life is not mine anymore. Or not that, it's that it was like, it's a gift. And this gift was given to me. I can't throw this gift away. And he just like flashes back to that moment. And I mean, that got me.
No, he goes, from the bottom of my own heart, I wish for a safe return for all of us.
Yeah.
Fuchi, you little fucking bitch. You made me cry.
Yeah, I really did fall in love with him too.
Yeah, and
I
then
loved him.
the edgy boy's power, that's what I'm calling. I don't know what's his name.
Shugen.
Shugen, his
yeah.
thing is he can like if he can empathize with someone and understand them, he can mimic their like skills and powers
And like soul.
and essence.
Yeah, in essence.
Yeah, so much so that people, start to see
Bro.
him as those other people.
Whoa, I thought.
Yeah.
Because the people who can see Tao, they literally see him like take on that form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he gets like it's not a metaphor either. Like he harnesses the strength of a guy who like he was really strong but he had the side people didn't know about, but he literally gets stronger.
Yeah.
It's not like I know how he punches now. He like gains their essence, including people that he just fought against.
Oh yeah.
Including people he just fucking killed.
Oh yeah, and that was fucked up too.
Yeah.
How dare you kill him and then use what he taught you? Fuck you. But we're skipping over another really cool thing that I did kind of like, and it's what's going on with Gabimaru this whole time. And it's
Who gives
that,
a fuck? I'm
I
just,
mean,
I mean, I do kind of go back and forth, like
just kidding.
of caring and not caring.
Yeah,
and then
for real.
and then another
Yeah.
person goes, "Your wife? Not even real, man."
Literally, I said they're pushing this so fucking much.
Yeah, and then he
like,
goes, "Guys, she's real." Like he never doubts it.
He's like, mental warfare
Yeah,
is not going to
psychological
work.
warfare.
Psychological warfare is not going to work on
Yeah.
me.
But-
What do you fucking think? They're like, I guess we shouldn't. I guess we should know that.
But it is.
But it's like it's like classic psychological warfare. But it's everyone's go-to move. So like maybe if they were like, and also that's not true, I would believe that was psychological warfare.
yeah.
and
but,
that's
like-
when he's meeting all of the gang, right? The
Well, that's
ninja
when we
gang.
find out, and this is a
That-
cool.
that shit
this
was
is a-
kinda fucked
Yeah,
up,
this is
though.
a part that I like. This is where I'm kind of in again on Gabimaru, is that you find out the reason they're trying to kill him is because Gabimaru is not his name. Gabimaru is a name that's given to their greatest warrior. It's a code name, and for legends to be told about Gabimaru and for them to go on for eternity, he has to die so that name can pass on.
So
And,
his simp.
which she's fucking. She
Oh,
has
is
a
Was
it
that a
she
girl?
or he?
No, it's a she.
It's a she? I
Yeah.
thought it was a he.
I could not tell. I just anytime. I mean, that's
I thought it was a
definitely
he.
I default to guy now.
I think it was guy because she kept calling everyone that he was with a wench.
But he called like a guy like an old. Like, he
it
had-
was for sure a she.
They did a thing for like if it was a guy like an old bag or something, and there was a girl, they'd call them a wench.
You mean in general?
That's like how they talked.
Back
yeah.
in the day or just in the story?
This person.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying they because I don't know what they are anymore.
I was like, you're just telling me terms that.
I mean, I'll
Oh.
concede to calling them a they, but like,
Yeah, they.
I'm
but
saying that because I just don't know anymore.
that was a topic of interest. I guess we could look it up.
I'm 90% sure it was she was a they were a
Oh.
woman. But again, been wrong before, and hey, I'll admit it. But I did think this was kind of cool that it was a code name. It was a reason that I bought because I wondered, why are they going after him? What possible reason could they have for wanting to kill him so badly that they're going to this island?
Because they can't get another one until he does. Because we
Yeah.
lost him. We keep trying to tell him his wife is not real, and that's all we have. By the way, that's our only way of messing with him. It's not working. So plan B is to kill him.
Yeah.
We figure we tell him his wife isn't real. He goes, okay, I'll go back to being an assassin then.
Well, also, I mean, if he does survive and then he goes off and either does good things or bad things, then that's where that legacy will end, and they need that legacy to instill fear for generations and generations.
And also, yeah,
and
you
generations.
can't just pass it on. The person who becomes the next one has to kill the previous one.
Yeah.
And that's what a big reason why all those villages are like, if you're a girl, you just like pump out babies, because the training they send babies through for that school, they just die like all the time.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
You have a face that says you found it.
Ambiguous gender.
Shija.
Shija's gender is stated by the author as unknown on Twitter. Their use of boku and the fact that they are serving as shinobi of Iwagakuri clan imply that they are male, but their appearance and mannerisms are rather feminine.
So we have
Gender
official
neutral.
confirmation
And
that
yandere.
they don't know.
Hey,
But you knew.
I like it.
Yeah, but you were like, oh, I know.
Oh, I'm 99%.
pretty sure.
Yeah, but I also said that I've been wrong before, and that I'll admit
That was the
being
one
wrong
true
again.
thing you said.
That was the one true thing you've ever said.
I did. I guess I just wrongly assumed. Yeah, I guess I just wrongly assumed.
Yeah. But he's killing kids left and right. I mean, they're like, I'll show you my power. Here's my sling.
And
I
they
mean,
slashed.
and they thank him.
Yeah, they go, thank you, Gabby Morrow.
Yeah. I mean, Gabby Morrow. I mean, he was a nasty guy.
Yeah.
Real
nasty.
He met his wife, or did he?
Every
time someone talks to him, they kind of ask him, maybe she's not real. What if that?
Before they have their fight and she reveals what she reveals, or they reveal what they reveal. Look, I'm trying my best.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they have an interaction and an altercation with Rain. And that fight, to me, is so cool. They get the closest to damaging Rain, I think the closest that anybody gets, because they realize, like, I can't beat you, but there has to be something you care about. So I'm just going to fuck with everything and see kind of what you react to, and then I'm just going to go after that thing. And so there's like
after a long fight, though, they realize that.
I feel like it happened pretty quickly.
We're kind of going to skim over fights.
Oh, but I don't think we mentioned, is that before or after May kind of helps him out?
Oh, that's way before.
That's way before?
May helps him out almost at the end when they're
okay.
leaving the island.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm just gonna go through kind of where we are, and then stop me when you wanna elaborate on something. But yeah, when the Banco, I think is what it's called, the big flower, is
Big Banco family.
Big Banco.
There you go. We can sell that on a shirt.
The everybody's Tao is affected. So like Chobi's Tao is affected, Gabby Maru's Tao is affected, and they start to aborify or go through aborification. And then Jika, we find out more about Jika too, and that Jika carries around a bamboo sword. It's not even a real sword,
but he's just so good.
Yeah, because he's so good. But then also he's got some ulterior motives that also never really go anywhere. Kind of.
Yeah, it's just I want to kill you because I like death.
Because I fucking love death.
Yandere.
Yeah. And a lot of the doshi, when that happens, a lot of the doshi are reverted to, which is like kind of weird, because it's like Gabimaru and Chobi are like affected and they become more aborified, but then like the doshi become like human again, which yeah. And he did have an island too. Yoshi did have an island.
Yoshi did have an island. Wait. Oh
my
fuck.
God.
The most ambitious crossover ever. Yeah, so Shija can read Gabimaru's thoughts because they stalked him and just was so obsessed with him that now they can basically read his mind.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
It's a bit insane.
Yeah, and then I like how the fight just sort of just ends in them being like, you would have gotten me, but I'm tree man now.
I'm
right.
tree man, Mao.
But that's where they slip up. She just kind of slips up. Shija. I said Shija.
It doesn't matter.
Cody wants to be Cody wants to be upset at
Yeah, I know, it's funny.
But I said
because it's funny.
Shija. She slips up. Shija slips up. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
They slip
Yeah,
up.
no, Cody's just he's not. No, he was wrong.
Oh, but I love the part where she just like, because Gavin was like, "Can you help me? Like, we need to team up." And they're just like, "Okay, yeah."
Yeah.
It was like as simple as that.
I've always wanted you to ask me that because now I know for sure I have to kill you.
Yeah. and then yeah.
The classic heist twist. Everyone talks in this way of like, I've always wanted to team up with you to kill you.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, but they slip up because they reveal that Gabimaru's wife is real, but their twist on it is that look, it's not ninjutsu. She's real, but she's brainwashed just like everybody else in that village too. So she's just been faking it this whole time.
Yeah.
And
Gabimaru was like, "There's no way she was faking it, bro."
No,
no, I could tell.
She's never faked it once.
trust
I
me.
can tell.
Yeah,
Trust
no.
me. My girl never fakes it. Trust me.
Yeah, no, she's a real person. That was the thing. Like, oh yeah, your wife isn't real in the sense that your idea of her isn't real. It's like now you're even reaching with your own fucking mind games.
Now you're just grabbing straws.
Your perception of her is kind of wrong, though. Maybe I don't know. You're married to her. Yeah. I didn't know her that well, but
I don't even think I've met her, honestly.
But why even tell him that though?
Because I don't don't know. I don't get the. Is it just the build up for when it actually, they get reunited?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was all for
guess.
that.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, maybe if I give him, maybe he saw like a rom-com and he saw that scene where they go, you don't love me, you love the idea of me. He's like, oh, that'll get him.
Yeah.
That'll get Gabby.
Yeah.
It's like what your 500 days of hell.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Also, what we I don't know, your relationship.
Yeah, I don't like that, but it's true. But then that was really cool to me. I loved that it's like, okay, after everybody's like saying she's not real, she's not real, she's not real. They go, she is real, but she's just faking it. And then he goes, that's all I need to hear is that she's real. I don't give a fuck if she's faking it.
So now
or
even
not.
you playing mind games
Yeah,
have just confirmed to me that she is real.
exactly.
So
And
now
that's
the
all it
only
needs.
concern is I don't know her as well as I could, which maybe if I got off this fucking island,
Yeah.
which again is the only thing I want to do right now,
Yeah.
so I can get to know my wife better.
Yeah, so we can eat chestnuts. Okay.
Yeah. Which we peel which also she can peel them by hand, which
Gangster.
gangster.
Oh, and that has some implications. Am I right?
Jesus, that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
What else can she peel with that hand? Anyway. So
With a knife.
we also find out that at this point.
Yeah, she's
Oh
like,
my
I'm
God.
gonna use a knife to like simulate.
Chestnuts, you know what that means? I can peel your balls off.
Megan.
That's what you were talking about, right?
That's what he meant,
I
honestly.
mean,
Yeah.
not really, but you're.
Oh,
on
you
the
meant
right
in like a
track.
nicer way?
He meant in a way that like hopefully no one asks me what I mean by that because
not
it
true.
doesn't make sense.
It does make sense.
It doesn't. I wanted to just point that out.
We find
But
out
that
that
was-
Shija burned their face to look more like.
I thought they put makeup
Gabby's-
on.
It was
No,
makeup, I
No,
think.
they burned themselves.
Oh, because they have it covered.
Yes.
Psycho.
Oh, because I saw
Yeah.
them like drawing. Did they?
I
heat
saw
a-
makeup
No.
too, though.
Yeah.
They held something in a fire and seared their forehead with it.
Wow.
They burned themselves.
So
He
he. Oh
just
yeah,
got
because they for sure saw his wife.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know what?
What?
They just wanted to look like his wife.
Okay, I was wondering where she was going, and it's been.
His burnt crispy wife.
No,
She has to do it
I have to do
at
it.
least once.
It's my burn
No.
crispy
No.
wife.
She had to do it. I was waiting for it. The people at home,
I almost
they
forgot.
were waiting for it.
I almost forgot.
Because
Thank God you
he
didn't.
remembers that like she was like, yeah, I can't really taste anything either, but let's just sort of pretend. And she goes, it tastes sweet. He's like, does it? She's like, no. It tastes really sweet. She's like working on how to like express a normal life,
Yeah.
which he remembers. So even the thing like, well, no, that's not even real. It's like, well, he now knows that like, oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He defeats her, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Damn.
It's because I read
You
it that
had
way.
it- you had
It's
it all
because
in
I
your
read it-
mind,
It's because
yeah.
I read it that way, and it's
I have learned that if it's ambiguous and they have lipstick and long hair, it's a guy.
I'm gonna
Or
be the
nothing
better.
at
I'm gonna
all.
be the better. Oh wow!
Oh.
I'm gonna be the better person and just apologize
Yeah, there you go,
to
Josh.
this fictional character. I apologize. Yeah.
The child
Cody, any
killer.
apologies?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
I
You-
wait.
Interesting
Wait.
that you
Wait.
you want their approval.
Oh, I don't want their approval. I just, Anyway, so it's at this point too that we get into more backstory about Rain and who Rain is and what Rain's real plan is, and there's this big reveal that didn't really hit me.
It was like,
No.
oh, okay.
No.
Because I didn't care that much about the original plan. And then it's like, but also, are you not going to do that too? Were you not going to send a bunch of butterflies to Japan? Because I feel like they were, right?
For sure.
So it's like, the real is like, that's not it. I also have a body with me. And I'm like, I don't remember being told about this person.
We were told about them, but did we care? No.
I
was
didn't care
that
at
supposed to
all.
be this thing of like, oh no,
The founder, their master, the original Zhu Fu, I think was his name, has been turned to a golden statue and is going to be
Born again.
Born again because Rain, dun dun dun, is his wife. And me reading it goes, okay.
Yeah, don't care.
Sure.
All right.
And then it just completely takes a turn when Gabimaru and Shugen is fighting Rain, and then it's just the ultimate throwaway. That's what really I didn't like about the story towards the end.
Yeah,
that part I was like...
But not to brush over a point that you brought up too, that happens kind of right before they get there, is that they all do meet up, but Toma and Chobe are not there. And then they say, well, we have enough people to leave to steer a ship, so let's get out of here. And they all the boats are destroyed except for one, which is like, that's a little weird too, you know?
Yeah.
If you're going to destroy all the boats...
Leave one.
Yeah, why leave one? I mean...
I guess they're like, you know, what are they going to do? I have so many ways of becoming a tree. Maybe they're like, sure, let's see what happens. Because it's not even like it was a little damaged. It was like just...
That's what I was going to say. It was perfectly intact.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. But anyway...
Could not tell you.
Nevertheless... They still can't get out, even though they have one perfect ship now, because all the debris from the other ships is blocking the one exit.
This would take a year or something.
And Gabimaru just freaks out. He's like, nope. He's like, I am going to get the fuck off of this island.
Also, all of you are superhuman beings. One of you specifically can cut a building in half. Couldn't he? So, I do, yeah, sure, this would take a long time for, me to do.
Yeah.
But none of you are normal humans at this point.
Yeah,
at least a couple of you are tree people.
Yeah, at this point it did feel a little... I mean, it felt like they were giving them problems for the sake of giving them problems, like obstacles that weren't really
obstacles. But then immediately get resolved.
Yeah, but we needed to believe for even a moment that they were obstacles.
Because I believe that, a lot of these people could probably swim and catch up to that boat.
Yeah. At least the way that they've made them seem. I mean, they've been fighting borderline gods this whole time.
Yeah.
Either way, May helps them. She turns into her
moth.
I got a moth form. I did not get a butterfly vibe.
Oh yeah, moth for sure. Yeah.
Which you must have been super relieved by.
Moths?
Are you cool with moths?
Yeah, a little bit.
You like them?
Depend if they're really hairy.
Yeah.
Then I don't really like them. And then they have the...
Did you like May?
Swirl. Yeah, I liked May until she turned into...
But she's like,
cool.
I'm gonna turn into a giant moth, which is a thing I can do. Mm-hmm. And everyone else turns into trees. My thing is moth stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna create a wind gust to send the boat forward. And then I was still like, can't you then fly and catch up?
Yeah. But she's expending all of her Tao and...
Yeah, and she kind of accepted her fate. That's what she kind of says, too.
Yeah, and she, we see more of her backstory, and she's apologizing for continuing to run away and for continuing...
Oh, yeah, and we should talk about why the brothers aren't there with them, because that is important. Because the blonde brother is like, I'm going to go my super tentacle tree form to fight this thing. And it's like, you're overdoing it. You're going to burn it out. And he...
Oh, right. And can we say real quick, too, and again, the only reason we're brushing through some of these things is because...
There's a lot of fights. There's not really much you can talk about how, so then he does his,
and we're trying to get to the meat of it.
But hyper nose flick move he learned in the ninjutsu school of nose flickery.
Yeah, I don't want to forget either that, there becomes this, moment where they realize the only way they can defeat this, Banco flower is to... Cody, listen. There's this only... the only way they can defeat this Banco flower is if they all defeat the tendons and slice the tendons at the same time.
I don't know you
and if they can't do that exactly at the right moment, simultaneously, all at once, then it won't be destroyed. And I'm like, okay, how many rules are they going to give this thing?
It's too many.
The way I feel about it is how we sort of tuned... I tuned out a lot of this because it's like...
And their master plan was, we're just going to keep blowing this horn. We're going to keep blowing this horn until you guys eventually do it at the same exact time. That was their master plan.
It's like the magic conch from SpongeBob.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it
like the
over,
magic conch from SpongeBob.
We're gonna do it over and over and over and over until inevitably you're gonna do it at the same time.
That's what happens to the ninjas that were sent to kill Gabimaru. Is after he defeats the person in love with him, they blow a horn made out of their hair. Also, they have hair powers.
Yeah.
And
Harry Potter.
everyone
everybody
is
just-
like, up, time to, all right, well, there we go. We had a good run, boys,
Yeah.
but we're all dead now, so that problem's gone.
Which they do demonstrate on the boat, earlier in the story when one of the Asaimons like, I don't trust you guys, and he's like, well, what do you need me to do? And she's like, I don't know. Why don't you, he goes, we'll sacrifice one of ourselves to prove our loyalty. And she's like, sacrifice yourself. And he's like, all right. And he just fucking, stabs himself in the neck. But yeah, we forgot all that they have to simultaneously cut the tandons at the exact same time. And that while these things are sprouting, they're sprouting copies of all the tents and
yeah. And part of it is like, oh, okay, so they're going to fight the same form, but also they're weaker. So like they can one-shot multiple copies, even though normal they would.
Yeah.
But like that was part of the brothers still being like the best written characters, because the issue was he was like, all right, my super, I can take them out, but hopefully the rest of them they time up, because the flower is gonna eat away at me, and then I'm gonna burn out completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then we see him kind of using his power, expending all of his Tau, and he has my number one favorite emotional moment where he's flashing back to being with his brother when he was a baby and coming to terms with being a big brother, what that means.
He's like, he's so fragile.
Yes. And then like to apologize to his parents and say like, Mom, Dad, like I was a thief. I was a murderer.
I strayed from the moral path.
Yeah. But I was a good brother.
But I know I was a good brother.
Yeah. I was like, fuck. That cemented it for me. That this character and his brother are my favorite characters.
And he goes out with a smile because he's like, I did it.
Yeah.
And then like, and it felt like an afterlife trial thing too, where it was like, because he's like apologizing to his parents, and they take him in and they just walk away together. He just looks back at his brother. They're running together as children in his mind. He's like, I did it. I was a good brother, wasn't I?
And again, like Yuzuriha, I would have been totally fine with that being the end. The only difference with this situation,
actual satisfying answer.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yes.
Makes sense for the characters, and was equally as satisfying as that being an end.
Yeah. And all we see is Toma just carrying what looks like a tandon, which at the time you could clearly see, but I didn't put it together. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, because the blonde one, like he completely aborifies and then just disintegrates. And then, there's the one person left over who is like, I'm not gonna fight you guys, but I am a tree person, by the way.
Yeah.
And they just have a bowl of like, oh yeah, eventually they'll all like regenerate after like centuries or something.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, cool.
Everyone's like, tight, we're not gonna be alive sick later.
Yeah, literally, it's like, oh, that won't be our problem. But it was like, can you not kill them right now?
Yeah, this is gonna happen again.
Was this a metaphor for global warming or something? Or I don't know. I mean, that felt like they're like, yeah, so they'll regenerate after a while, and they're like, chill.
Yeah. Cool.
Chill. We'll see you later.
We're just trying to get on a boat.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't your plan to stop them? And you can take them out in literally one hit right now.
Oh, their plan was to just stop them as long as they were an inconvenience to them getting off the island. Once that's not a problem anymore, do what you want to do.
Yeah, which I guess I was supposed to be this moment of like, oh, they're not heroes.
True.
They're all just here. Like, if they're literally told like, oh yeah, so we'll do this again to people, everyone is just like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. And to kind of go back to where we were now we're on the boat. We see that the Blade Dragon has swam, Cody, to your point, ahead, and has jumped aboard and has that fight with Shugen.
And
One of-
Shugen.
and,
But Shugen lost an arm because he was already in a little bit of an altercation with Rain.
And Shugen used an anchor as a grappling hook to get on the boat.
And he drank some juice.
Some juice.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm just testing it for poison. It's safe for consumption. And the next panel is just him, like, black eye, just, like, ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I didn't know what they were really going to do with that, but, you drew it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty
I
creepy.
put, am I tripping?
It's
It
actually
looks like
really
he was, like,
cool.
tripping. Balls. He was like, whoa.
Because you could start seeing Tao after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
More so than before, but yeah, he's, like, full power now.
And that's when I think Rain realizes that Shugen can not only like turn into these people because he's using their fighting stances or styles, but that he can also just like change his Tao. His Tao can become fire Tao. It can become wood Tao. It can become all these things, which doesn't really benefit him at all. Doesn't really benefit Shugen at all.
No.
The payoff to that for me was when he channels the medicine guy's Tao, and then the sword dragon guy's like, man, why are you doing that?
Don't do that.
But that's also when he realizes, like, oh, you're right. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here. I got caught up. I got a little emotional, but I'm not here for this.
Because I love that the sword guy is, like, beating him.
Yeah.
Or at the very least holding his own in this fight. That, I thought, like, this guy's just going to, like, blow through all the main characters. But it's like, oh, this is the guy's whole thing is he's good with a sword. And he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, if I wasn't, didn't have the sword or you didn't have your powers, I would beat you. But he's like, oh, you're kind of powerful right now. He's like, actually, I can't do this alone.
Yeah, and Shugen bounces back very quickly, too, because after his arm gets chopped off, his equilibrium gets thrown off, but then he's able to adapt very quickly. But then the Blade Dragon realizes that he's not there to fight him, and he slices the boat in half. And that's when Rain gets pretty upset. And
I like
out.
that thing of his, like, I always wanted to defeat monsters. The first monster I defeated was a boat, and they're like, oh, because this thing is like that. This part of a boat is like called the dragon bone. So he's like, I slayed a dragon. It's like, oh, that's a fun.
And we should mention, we haven't even mentioned him at all because he just takes a back seat on purpose because he wants to. Right. Your favorite guy.
My ex favorite guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jika.
what's his Jika? Yeah, he goes, nah, you guys are good. I'm just gonna get drunk and then wait to get laid when I leave.
Yeah, he's like, there's nothing for me to do.
Yeah,
does he know what Tao even is? Or?
He doesn't know it's called Tao, but he can kind of manipulate it to see. He's like, Doctor Strange in that he can see multiple outcomes of multiple events, and he's just like, okay, if I move that way, that's going to happen. And he says he can see thousands of outcomes.
That's an interesting thing for that character to be like, I would not help here.
Yeah. No, he doesn't at all, and he doesn't do anything. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, that's not a good guy.
Yeah. Well, he actually, we kind of brushed over this too, that he actually told Chobi and Toma that he wanted them to kill Shugen. Mm-hmm. And he's like, kill the other people too if you can. If not, no big deal.
Just try.
Just kill Shugen.
Because then I get like a promotion. And with that promotion, I'll end up having to do less work. So I guess he's some sort of congressman.
Go with women more.
Yeah.
That's all he cares about.
Yeah, and he does purposely take a back seat, but he kind of had his little time to shine when they were fighting the Banco, the big flower.
Yeah, I mean that was it.
That was really it, and he got naked for that or whatever.
Oh yeah, he did get naked.
Yeah, but now we're with Shugen, we're with Gabimaru, and we're with Rain, and Rain uses they think they all board the ship, and they think they defeat him. But then you realize that it was just a Tao illusion that was cast by Rain, and now
I don't know if these are supposed to be like what, but it's always just like, oh, so now the real fight begins.
Yeah, and then Rain goes into their Kishiki form, which looks like some sort of like Hindu god kind of, or Hindu deity, and starts shooting these like super powerful beams out of their eyes or hands or whatever. And Gabimaru and Shugen undergo like an intense, especially Gabimaru, an intense aborification.
Yeah, he's pretty much like dead.
Yeah. Which again didn't really feel like there was
like
this
why?
full page panel of him covered, in flowers, and he's aborified. And to me, I couldn't help but think like, okay, when's he gonna be back?
And then we go into Sagiri again.
Yeah. Which
I wish I felt more for her power up, but I just didn't.
Yeah, you got people becoming trees and unlocking like aura visions and stuff, and then then self-confidence.
I liked what she did with Gabimaru and saving him. I thought that was clever, but the whole she knows herself now she's as more powerful than Gabimaru. I just didn't buy it, and it didn't feel like a big payoff for me at all.
I will say I did really like it in spirit. I liked the message. I liked what it was saying, but to both of your points, it just didn't. It was a little underwhelming compared to what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
It was nice that like one character's power up came from like them, accepting self-doubt. Like it's okay to doubt yourself. It's okay to not. I've been surrounded by people that are way stronger than me, and they doubt yourself. And so if they can doubt themselves and be that strong, then I'll accept the doubt within myself. And that's where she finds this perfect balance.
I would have rather seen it like fucking 8 chapters before this.
Sure.
Like it didn't need to happen at the end. This didn't need to be the last straw. And even this isn't the last straw, just saying like, oh, I have a wife too.
Yeah.
Like was the most, it would just, and then it just ends.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
The character was like, well, I know that you also, literally the Batman versus Superman thing that you were talking about of like,
my mom's named Martha too.
You're also married. That's why I couldn't. I know your plan is to like kill like the world or whatever, but like I forgot that we were both married, and that's why.
And then she's like, oh, she's crying, and then like,
She's
okay,
like,
I'm gonna heal everyone. Like what?
Yeah. Well, I also don't want to skip over when Sagadi saves Gabimaru from aborification. She chops his head off where all the roots are, and then holds him against her bare chest until he regenerates.
The bear?
She had her.
I don't think it was bear.
Yes, it was.
No, it was.
1,000,000,000,000,000% because she's putting her gi or her kimono or whatever. She's closing it back up when he wakes up. She had to put his skin on her skin. She didn't take it all the way off, but she opened it up, and she's not showing her titties, but she is showing like.
Okay, well that's yeah.
But she is showing some cleavage. Like she is there. Everything, the nipple's about to slip, And she's got Gabby right there, and she's holding him right there, and then his head finally grows back. But he's got a cool haircut now.
I said he got a fresh cut. He got a fresh cut.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so I killed you because you were completely flowers. So I regenerate your Tau.
Yeah.
So I cut you until you regenerate, and there's your head, and there's your body, and it was like either just don't have him in that position because it immediately gets resolved of like, and that doesn't even I know all of these rules, and that still didn't make sense to me that she cut his head off, and then his head regenerated normal, then she cut his body off, and then let his body regenerate, and now he's a guy, and then there's his old guy.
Well, it's the way that they explain it, and again, I'm not saying it makes sense, but I'm saying how they explain it is that like. She cut off every part of him and they kind of did this with Homeboy with the glasses. Senta. They kind of did it with Senta a little bit where they cut out where the flowers were rooted, like where they were taking root. They cut out those and then they pulled out the rest and then just let everything kind of grow back normal. I mean, I'm not saying it makes sense, but that's kind of how they explain it. And then like you said, yeah, they realize that they can kill Rain, and then there's the Martha moment, and then Shugen, thank God, is like, well, if he's not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, that guy rules.
Yeah. Oh, really? The killer rules, huh?
And then he dies.
Yeah, and then he dies because he used a lot of Tau to do that.
And the other Asaemon, they died. They got crushed.
Oh yeah, they got crushed.
Oh, that's what I was thinking because I didn't even see them get crushed. I just saw a hand and I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" And they weren't there, so I just assumed
one of them,
died.
was the debris.
Yeah.
Once Rain ripped the ship apart, and then the other one, Rain like held their hand out and just fucking crushed their head. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, which I kind of thought was going to happen to the main characters because of the whole prophecy where they're like, all right, so 2 guys, 1 girl. That's who's going to.
Yeah, I really thought that was going to happen.
And that's what I got to get back to, that prophecy. But go ahead. Because it's not till the very end.
Yeah. So, like, I thought, like, okay, now these characters are going to start dying.
Mm-hmm.
Tau.
These
characters are going to start dying.
I see what you were going for.
Yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah. And you did it. But after that, it's another part of the story where it's like, I don't believe it's really over.
Towards the end,
they're dragging it out.
They're dragging it out. The ending felt very weird to me. It was just literally the last couple chapters was like you said, we're gonna give them something to do. They're gonna get it done. Oh wait, there's something else that we have to do. Oh, okay, we'll get it done, and everyone will leave, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, Rain comes back, kills basically Sagadi, blows a hole in her. She's like slowly
Yeah.
She's slowly dying. And then Gebimaru is like holding on to something. Rain blows his arm off, so he falls to the floor, and I'm thinking, okay, someone's gonna die.
Sagari, because she just got a hole put in
Yeah.
her fucking middle of her stomach.
And then the Martha
What?
moment, and this like flashback.
Oh yeah, and then he had like, cause he got a hole blown in his chest.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got the headband from the.
Oh yeah, that was earlier. Yeah,
from the guy.
Too many holes.
Yeah, and then Gebimaru's gonna die, and he's like, why did you hold back? And he's like, because we both have wives, bro. You know the old ball and chain, am I right? And he's like, you're right, or whatever, and saves him and heals everybody. And it just didn't feel like I don't know.
And then it's over.
And then it's over.
And now the thing is, all right, so we got the immortality thing, but we can only have one part. This is where it sort of if this was just a heist plot line, I would have really liked it. Like all the fighting was like the weakest points to me. Because if you cut to like, okay, and we're gonna do this. Plan B is, but then we'll win. But if that fails, we'll do this. And then they go, oh, we knew you would be here, so we're gonna do this. And then you just cut straight to, all right, now we got it, but only one of you guys can get the pardon. And how are we gonna do this?
Yeah. That's way more interesting than everything else.
Yeah.
Them having to decide who gets to walk away and how they get to walk away. And yeah, I mean, we got this cool, like there was this like attempt at closure where we did get to see Rain walk away in the afterlife with her husband.
Do I care though?
But it's like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want them to have a happy ending.
Yeah, no, they did a lot of bad shit. But
I guess it's nice. It's like nice to know, I guess, that there's a happy ending even
for the people who raise
even
children
for the
to be
wo-
sex slaves to each other, and for like the weird bug men they make. I'm glad that those people got a happy ending.
Right. Yeah. Right. They did a lot of fucked up things, and we're gonna do even worse things.
Yeah.
They were on their way to do worse
On their way
things.
to, but they were married
and they did love each other.
and they loved each other.
That's
and
what's important.
And people do crazy shit when they're in love.
That's the point of it. It puts you into a real hell's paradise, and then the movie ends
Credits roll.
and you're like,
Lost in paradise.
all the music, yeah. It's just a loving montage of those people as a couple. Wouldn't it be nice? Literally, there's a scene of them walking on a beach. And you burned a girl because she didn't want to be a child sex slave.
Yeah. Well, they have a happy ending, and you're right. It immediately gets interesting again when they're on the boat.
Yeah.
And their dynamic just becomes perfect.
I teared up at Gabimaru's laugh. Like, I straight up was like, oh my God, this man is finally happy. He gets to see his wife again. Thank God. Give him his wife now, please.
Yeah, and their relationships with each other have all been fleshed out so beautifully
I
at this point.
know.
Outside of all the fighting, them together
And that
is
panel
so cool.
of them just like laughing on the boat, I was like, oh.
And the Blade Dragon with his like, I don't want to hear about this guy's wife again.
Yeah.
And then it shows him kind of like leaning, listening, and they're all laughing and they're all commiserating. And I was like, this is fucking cool. I like these people together. I like when they're just hanging out.
Yeah, I don't care about how like I gotta channel my Tao into my sword, but this is a wood sword and he's a water Tao.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Imagine how, like, I mean, it's a great manga in general, but like, imagine how much better it could have been with like at least half of the Tao shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it as an idea, but it became the focal point of the story when it could have just been more about them and their dynamic.
Literally.
None of the character stuff was ever a point where like, oh, it's this again.
No.
dude.
That was all great. I only was like, oh, okay, we're gonna fight flower people again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. The characters were so well done. All of their backstories, I felt for all of them. But yeah, every time another Tencent showed up, I was like,
God damn.
And they go,
Christ.
you thought you had me,
Yeah.
but I'm a flower guy, but I have two heads.
I'm a flower guy.
And you know what they say? Two heads are better than one. And then they fight, and the guy goes, oh, but he's a fire Tao.
Yeah.
Where's our water guy? They go, I'm over here. You stab him.
You know who's my favorite flower guy?
Who?
Orlando Bloom.
I wish we could just end the episode.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool. Maybe we'll work
Is
that.
that
in.
good?
We'll work that into.
Can
the
you
end
like just
somehow.
just do just a fade to black for like a second?
Yeah.
Don't you have that? Don't you have that ability?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And until next time,
Um,
may
may your Orlando's bloom.
your not bad.
Yeah.
So like you get the cut to like, all right, so the guy who like didn't do anything was like, I'm just gonna get drunk on the boat, which he actually was noticeably drunk. Didn't he like fall off the boat at one point?
The ocean.
But he doesn't betray them. I thought that was interesting.
And that kind of doesn't really get resolved either, which is fine. That he was going to betray them and he was trying to kill them. He told the brothers to kill them if they could. But then now he's kind of just, because I guess all he does care about is just not having to deal with things. He wants to live a life of luxury.
Well, because the main guy in his like one person did die, so like won't he get a promotion? Isn't that the?
Well, yeah, I mean he's still gonna get the promotion, yeah, and he does get the promotion.
Which that's his happy ending. Is he got the big promotion he was after?
Yeah,
a lot of like rom-com and like silly comedy like payoffs for characters.
So yeah, pretty much he's giving that whole speech to the main guy who sent him on the mission. He's like the only lone survivor was the dragon guy, and he brings all the pieces of hair to show that they died. And then you find out that the fucking chief is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they killed his ass. I was like, good.
Yeah, I love it.
Fuck that guy.
We gave him the immortality. He became a tree, and I guess that's what he wanted.
We hated
and I guess
him.
he is kind of immortal now.
In a way.
Yeah.
I like the
funny.
idea of like in universe, they're like, I think that's the vibe I got too. They're like, yeah, I guess, he got immortality.
Yeah, isn't this what you guys wanted? Kind of thing. I like that it doesn't give them.
Good. We didn't like that guy anyway.
Well, yeah, but I like that it doesn't give them the immortality that they want. I like that they're like, oh shit, this turns people into trees.
Yeah, so like we're gonna, thank you.
Yeah.
For the immortality thing, we're gonna sit on it for a bit.
Yeah. Figure it out.
Don't know what to do with this now.
Yeah.
You guys didn't risk your lives for the shit on the shelf, so we'll
do
figure
something with it.
We'll find
Thank
something
you
to do.
So much.
Yeah.
out. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Your
But
pardon.
I did like that moment where we were wondering, because again,
The prophecy
comes up when the boat's docking, and they say, there's one woman and two guys on the boat, and so you're thinking, okay, who is
so
it?
Gabby Mara,
and what happened?
And then who and who?
Yeah. And then it's not Gabby Mara, it's the Blade Dragon. He's the winner of Survivor, basically. And it's kind of cool too. What I thought was going to happen was we were going to see what happened on the boat, and maybe there was going to be another fight on the boat or something.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a thing of like, because they said like whatever happens, we're fine with. I thought it was going to be a thing like, all right, everyone, then let's one final duel among friends.
Yeah, but the cop out to me, the biggest cop out of them all is you have to they all separate. You have to abandon your name and abandon the life you once lived. Therefore, technically, two people,
and then,
old versions of themselves.
And the prophecy was we'll make it back on shore on the boat. So they're like, so we'll just not land on that shore on this boat, and then we'll leave somewhere else. Which is kind of like, maybe that's not so much a prophecy as a guess.
Well, I also took it as like the person who you were is dead. In order for you to not be found, Gabby Maru has to die. The idea of Gabby Maru has to die. So you can go off and do whatever you want to do.
Does he just go as Gabby now?
I hope so.
Yeah.
They're like,
I hope so.
Gabby, you couldn't be Gabby Morrow. No, that's not me. I'm just
You're not Gabby from...
I'm Gabby.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not Gabby from Attack on Titan, are you? And he's like...
Gabby.
But yeah, and so, we find out that they all kind of went their separate ways.
And I like the thing where they flash back to, all right, so how are we going to vote on it? Everyone goes, Dragon guy, because he
even
stands
votes for
out. Yeah,
himself.
because he's like, it's me. I stand out so much. The reason is like, I can't blend in. Everyone else, they're like, I can just like cut my hair or something.
Yeah.
It'll be like that was the thing of like they're like, what's going to happen if we make it back? We don't get a party. What do you mean? Just like go to a different city. Who's going to like be able to like track you down like by your appearance?
Yeah.
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 You're all ninjas.
Especially the two ninjas.
And all of the drawings of them are not very accurate at all.
They're just doodles. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did not have a very good technology back in the day.
So I like that it's resolved by them doing the most logical thing of like, he's literally the only one here that stands out.
Yeah.
The rest of us will be fine.
He's also, I'm not shaving, so it has to be.
Yeah.
This is my look.
Yeah. And we get our little bow on everything, and it kind of ends, and they do this thing at the very end before the last chapter. chapter 126, they do this thing where everybody's kind of meeting, everybody's kind of going about their life, separating. You don't get to see what they're up to necessarily, not yet, but you do see Jika tell Sagari, or he tells Gabimaru basically, just go to this nunnery and just go there, and I'll take care of everything else. And then that's when, we see
the reveal.
Gabimaru's wife and then Gabimaru meeting, and then they do this little coy thing where they say and don't you, and it's it's to the reader, but in universe it's like characters talking to each other, and it's don't you think it'd be a little rude or a little, we can't it'd be a little too, there's a word that they say, it'd be a little too, it wouldn't be very decent of us to peer in on their private moment.
Yeah.
And so we don't get to see them reunite.
Yeah, they're but you can only imagine. I'm that's kind of a nice note to end the thing on, if I was more invested in his wife being real or not. Maybe.
Very, what's that one movie where they switch bodies?
Freaky Friday.
No, the anime movie.
Freaky Friday.
No.
Your Name.
Your Name, yeah, the fucking ending to Your Name. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything,
okay.
but
I already ruined it for Cody. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was just that's what you're gonna give us. Okay.
I know, but I do like it because I guess it's never gonna live up to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think the manga.
I never agree with that line of thinking that we can't do something because it won't live up to expectations. Just do the thing.
And then
sometimes
let
do
me
the
think
thing.
for myself.
I mean, in this story, because it was written by if they're well, we can't make a sequel because people won't like it as much. It's so either you don't have a sequel idea, or do it. Don't say we can't now because expectations.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess in this situation, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind us not getting to see Gabimaru and his wife reunite, and I like that idea of you're leaving it up to the reader's imagination. You know what you felt reading about their relationship, and so you're going to perceive and see their reunion however you want to perceive and see it. And that was kind of cute. It worked for this. It worked for Hell's Paradise. And that was sort of the end of the story. Final chapter.
I liked ending a reuniting moment on and you know what? It's none of your business.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. It worked. It worked. But yeah, and then we see a year. It's been a year. And we start to see more
final chapter
of
is where are they now?
Yes, It's the Sandlot, and I love it. It's like that freeze frame of them, and then that text at the bottom that so and so went on to do this and
they were wacky and fun.
Loved it.
That was probably the most fun I've had reading this was that epilogue.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Who was your guys'? I mean, obviously it was the brothers, right? Who was your favorite sort of where are they now?
The brothers.
The dragon.
The brothers were cool, but the dragon was really sweet.
Because that felt like the most play on the the character wise, because he's so he opened up a dojo / medicine thing, and he's studied medicine in honor of the sacrifice his friend made, and within it he's clearly gotten more invested in doing medicine than he has in fighting now.
Yeah,
because someone's I'm here to challenge you because I'm doing the thing.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
But I also really really loved Sagari and Yuzuriha.
Riha.
Riha.
Yeah.
Riha. Yuzuriha and Yui, right? His wife?
Yeah.
They're all just he's not even involved. He's sleeping.
I loved that.
And they're just having tea together. And Sagari's fangirling over
I
his
loved it.
wife.
Mhm.
She's I feel like we're sisters. She's oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. She's wow, I've not seen this side of you.
That felt
I thought it
so
was,
real.
Yeah.
And I love that. And that's what I wanted. That's all I wanted to see.
Which was part of the thing of him not well, we won't wake him up just yet. It was you don't get to see them reuniting after a year, and you don't get to see how he is now. It's here's her meeting the wife, and I'm so wait, is she real? Or?
They're still questioning it.
And then the bodyguard, the slime lady became her bodyguard, and then
That's what I'm
where
saying.
they drop
They're
a line that
girlfriends.
hints at she's I love you, and then she doesn't go what, you're crazy. They go yeah, and they just move on with it. I'm oh
Hell yeah, dude.
okay,
Oh,
Hell's
and
Paradise.
New guy.
Yeah, and Shion are the
Shion.
lone wolf and the cub.
Oh, so cute.
That it became they became folk heroes.
Yes.
Loved it, and then he's becoming such a dad about it.
I loved that part. I loved that he became a dad, and he did not become, because with her and Tenzin there was that weird are they
won't
married? Yeah, are they gonna get married or what's gonna happen? But I love that with him and her it was father daughter.
He's just you're dressing kind of mature for your age. He's like, all the girls dress like this. It's not. It was like a very like father-daughter talk.
Yeah.
And then some guys like, hey, he's like, hey, back off, and they just it's a genuine father-daughter relationship. And people walk by, and then just someone's like, oh, I guess that's his daughter. She's kind of darker skin. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like people don't even believe it. They're like, well, there goes the wolf and the
cub. Yeah. I liked it, man. I mean, the ending, the epilogue, this last chapter was so fun. It made almost everything worth it. I'm glad that they went this like really funny route. And I would love to read a spin-off series. I don't know how long it would interest me for, but like of at least like Chobe and Toma and Lil Chobe and Toma like fighting.
Chibi Chobe!
Yeah, Chibi Chobe!
I had the most fun with the dragon guy, but the brothers felt like and here we go again.
Yes, right? It felt like that. I don't know.
I mean, because the reveal is like they get the flashback to the girls like, oh yeah, so they're gonna regenerate. You guys don't care, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, so this will regenerate, and they're like, you can absorb the towel of this. I don't give a shit.
I don't give one shit.
I don't give a shit.
Could
man.
not care less. Give me 1,000, 2,000 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Um.
And that's when we do get to see that
So-
final reveal.
Because there's
too.
been gangs from like England coming over to Japan, and they're like they're at the mercy of the black-haired brother and the blonde-haired brother, who is now a small child.
I loved it though, man. It was so cute. It was so cool.
He's on the throne. He's all badass. He's like,
Yeah.
hee, hee, hee.
It was so fucking sick, man. I'd read volumes of that.
Yeah, that was. And the sense too of like now he's the little he's the little brother now, and how his brother, they just respect each other and love each other so much.
It was so cool.
And like, cause like they kept being gangsters, but it's like they're fighting invaders
they
at that
became
point.
like anti-heroes.
Yeah,
kinda.
they're like, we're gonna take over doing gang shit.
I mean, that's all they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of was like, okay, we can kind of branch off.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
like,
ready
oh,
to
we've
just-
been raised this way. We're
Yeah.
going to stay.
Yeah,
I need a nap. That's what Debbie Morrow said after everything.
I like that it wasn't, they're like robbing people. That's not what we see. All we see is them like defeating an enemy gang from another country,
Mm-hmm.
and then like he kills them when they like disrespect the fact that he's like a child now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah. And then that's when we
And
get the very last
which I did
reveal.
not.
You didn't like the very last reveal where we're in modern times now.
I
and,
didn't get it.
And May comes in and she's like, they're sprouting. And then what's that Tensen's name? That Tensen's name is.
And May still wants to be in child form.
Well, I don't know if that's like. Is that like May, or has May been like reborn and has her
I don't
consciousness
know,
been
but
reset?
just let them die.
Right.
Like,
Gifa.
Yeah.
Yeah. May tells Gifa that Jufa and Taufa have sprouted, and then they're like, "Well, that was sooner than I thought." And then it kind of ends. Hopefully, the
'cause
rest of them sprout soon too.
The reason I didn't like that is like, yeah, that's why you should have killed them when you were.
Yeah.
But then also, I don't know, because like because it's May and then that other lady, but they were like the chillest.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if it's like the idea of like, well, we're gonna raise this new generation.
That's a good point.
yeah, that's probably what they're going to. I don't think they would do it all over again.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do the same thing we did last time.
For sure, May would not be down for that, and because like she'll essentially be the senior of them, so maybe it's the idea of like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it
That's a
again,
good point.
but we're gonna do it right this time.
Mhm.
Which I do. If I like the idea of it ending on that note of like, yeah, Gabby, he never really woke up, but they they had tea together and they got to all live their happy lives, and they die out of old age, and now it's like back at it with the immortality, but
Yeah.
I'm also I teach on Zoom.
Yeah. It did seem inherently sinister though, for some reason.
It seemed sinister.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, man, you really should have killed them when you had them completely at your mercy, and you actively wanted to kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, in my mind, I'm going to go with what you said, in that they're going to do it all over again, but this time they're going to do it right. That May's going to lead them and raise them, and they're going to be good this time.
Yeah, what we're going to do is like meditate, like, through like yoga and stuff, and not the other stuff you guys were suggesting.
Yoga.
Yeah. Let's try yoga.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
that's what this series. if it
Downward
had-
dog, not doggy style. How about that?
If it had one note, I would have liked it to say like, yeah, just we're gonna do it better, like mentioning that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's like, wow, they really just let them give it another shot at destroying the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. I could have read chapters and chapters of Sagari and Yui. What's her name? Gabimaru's wife.
Yunohina? Oh, no, Yui?
No, yeah, Yui. Yeah, I could have read chapters of them just kind of like connecting and meeting, and that was sweet. And the ending it did feel complete. It did feel finished. It did feel like there was a cohesive beginning, middle, and end. It got a little carried away with the fighting at some parts for me personally. I'm sure people love that, and I'm sure in the anime that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I will. In most manga, I don't really agree with you where you're like, I just skimmed past the fighting. In this one, I skimmed past it. I read for like, okay, do I need to know that he has metal Tau, and that's good against wood? No?
Yeah.
All right, well then, if there's an anime, I'll see it.
Yeah. As a whole, now that we're done, now that we've gone through everything, now that we've experienced Hell's Paradise, what do you think about it? I feel like it's pretty clear how we feel, but is it a series you're going to recommend to people? Is it a series you're going to reread? Is it a series you're going to watch the anime adaptation of?
I would definitely recommend it to people that, I mean, the characters are awesome, and I had fun reading it. I mean, obviously the fight scenes were a little carried on, and things that we didn't need to know were kind of shoved down our throats multiple times. But other than that, I had a really fun time reading it. I thought it was very unique in the sense of the story and, you know, the developments that happen within the story. But overall, I'm very excited for the anime. I think it's going to be freaking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if they take it to the level that they took it in the manga. They might even cut down on the fighting a little bit, which
I don't know.
We'll see. But I had a great time.
I hope.
I mean, it might be more tolerable in act.
Yeah,
in
no,
motion.
I would recommend watching the anime when it comes out. I don't know anyone I would recommend the manga to, because it's like I would recommend it for the character writing. I would not recommend, like, I don't really read stuff about like fighting. I don't find pure fighting on its own particularly interesting. So, like, if you watch the anime, yeah, you'll get like a 2-minute fight scene, and then my dad was like an asshole, and
yeah,
I guess that's when I learned the Tau is the strongest within,
yeah,
and not without Tau. My Tau is wood, by the way. That's going to be important.
yeah.
Wood it's healed by water.
You're gonna need to know that.
You definitely need to know that.
You will need
You will need
to know that.
to Tau that.
to Tao.
I kind of.
How do you like me, Tau?
Oh, wow. I do think that like you said, the anime is going to be beautiful and it's going to be so fun to watch. I would kind of recommend this series to people. I do think it's a really good series, and I know there are people out there who really enjoy fighting and these kind of fight scenes, and even people who don't. I would just say that at first it becomes a mystery. What is this island?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun. Then you figure out what it is, and then it becomes just a lot of fighting. And I would just say, if you're reading it and that's something that you're not particularly interested in, don't spend too much. You don't have to spend too much time understanding it.
You don't need to read every page that explains that
Yeah.
here are 5 different ninjutsu moves he's doing right now that result in him kicking and punching a tree.
Yeah, but the characters themselves are enough for me to recommend it, and are enough for me to say it's worth reading.
Definitely.
And again, like I said in the beginning, like it's not even because like they're necessarily like great or really cool character designs. A lot of people are saying that Chobi looks like Bakugo and that Gabimaru looks like the guy with hands on his face.
But yeah, they do a really cool thing with Chobi though, even though it's like it's Bakugo with scars, and then that turns out to be one of the most deep characters in the series, and those scars aren't there they actually are there just to be there.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that the characters don't look cool. They look cool, but I mean, when you hold it up to a series like Jujutsu Kaisen, who has this like very just like distinct character designs, these bold character designs, like, I would say that even though aesthetically, maybe Jujutsu Kaisen, the characters maybe aesthetically are a little more pleasing, character-wise and their depth in Hell's Paradise is just like far superior. But again, that's just me. That's just personal preference. I recommend it, but maybe skim through some of the fights if that's not your thing. And if it is, then you're gonna love this.
If you
series.
love fights, ooh boy. If you love power systems and having complete having complete diagrams laid out for you, so you can be like, so fire, is weak to water.
Yeah, you're gonna freaking jizz your pants.
You're gonna jujitsu your pants.
Yeah. But that's it. That's it for our volume.
Oh, do we
done
have our did you say you wrote down what our guesses for how it would go were?
Well, I remember.
Okay.
And I took the stand.
I don't remember.
The reason that
I think he said so many things.
yeah, the reason that it's like probably something better to do in the future is because I ended up just taking a stance that was contradictory of yours, just so there'd be variation, and we didn't. There was no real.
I thought a lot more characters were going to die.
Yeah. I
thought the wife was going to be imaginary because I was like, why constantly push this?
Yeah.
But I guess that's all they have for psychological warfare, is then be like, but metaphorically, she's not real. Maybe, I don't know. No one died.
Yeah. Well, I think since we continue like where we left off to the end, I think only Fuchi was really the only main character that we had been introduced to at that point that died.
Yeah, he died, and then like
the other two assignment that showed up, and Shugen died.
Yeah, and then like, it took me till the end to realize it wasn't that. It was a high story with flowers, but you're like, okay, two characters die, like one they get like they have a whole, she's like, this is it, I'm dying, and then a character like dies, and then Gabby dies, and then they all just sort of like come back.
Yeah.
So
I think we discovered that in this volume done. And that's something that I want to do a little bit better in our next volume, the future volume dones that we do, in just like sort of having a clear bet, like having a clear sort of like I don't want to call it a punishment, but I guess it would be.
We'll write them down. Yeah. That way you can't be like, well, if you're gonna say that, I'll just say something else.
Yeah. And that way, like we'll remember them a little easier. Because I took the stance of like she's gonna be fine and she's gonna be normal. Just because I wanted to represent every guess, but not necessarily because that's what I believed. But I ended up being right, but not because that's what I thought was actually going to happen.
No, yeah.
I think going forward,
a lot of bets. We were like, this person just kept going on.
Yeah. Well, I think going forward, that's something fun to do.
Who's going to die? And the answer was no one.
Yeah,
the tree people, and then no, not even them actually. No one died.
Oh yeah, you're right. Not even them.
Two people died.
Wow. Fuck. Guess you're right. Anyway, yeah, that's something that we'll carry over to our future volume dones, but that's going to do it for this volume done of Hell's Paradise. It was a wild ride. It was a long ride. It felt so long, but we're finally done. We finally got through it. If you've read Hell's Paradise, which I hope you have, if you're watching this video, then let us know what you thought about it. Let us know what you thought about the series in its entirety, how it ended. If you like the fights, if you don't like the fights, if you like the characters, if you don't like the characters, you can message us directly on Instagram or hop in our Discord. And we'll talk to you about it there as well. As far as future volume dones too, if you're watching this, comment down below and let us know what other volume dones you want to see us do, because we do have our next volume done planned. It's going to be Goodnight Pun Pun. But after that, we're going to be looking for another one to do. So if you have any suggestions, we'd love to add that to our list and then make a poll on our Patreon for people to vote on.
Keep in mind, when we do something like Pun Pun, we're not going to want to do something dramatic for a bit.
Oh, it's going to fuck us up, but now I'm ready.
Because Fire Punch at least had people punching each other.
Yeah, but now I'm ready. I'm emotionally prepared now. I just needed a little time to heal, but I'm there now.
Just being like, all right, guys, we're going to devote ourselves to reading the saddest thing in the world.
The saddest thing ever. But you know what's not the saddest thing ever, and something that's very positive to read, are comments from you that you've left on some of our previous videos that we read in the Wonder Circle. If you want us to read a comment in a future Wonder Circle, then leave a comment on this video or any of our previous videos. Do you guys have your comment picked out?
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
You should go first.
I will. This comes from Meg Christian.
Love him.
Love him. Senta's death was so sad, and it was even more sad when Fuchi was crying at his grave. That shit hurt me. I remember that scene. I was like, damn.
I mean, if I had to say top 3 moments emotionally for me, were Senta, for sure. Tenza coming back for Nurugai when Shion was fighting. And Chobi and Toma. Mm-hmm. Top 3 emotional moments. Senta probably being number 2. I mean, that was a powerful moment. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuchi and them were so close because they kind of weren't like with the grain. They were doing their kind of own, projects and stuff. Like Senta could kill, but he was more like, I'm going to learn. And so was Fuchi, like about the body and stuff. So they had like a little not unsaid. They were like really good friends, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, they had a bond.
And he even said later, Fuchi was like, I didn't really know what like, I knew what death was about, but when you like actually feel it in real life, that's changes you completely because he lost like so many people.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a moment that was really, really well done. Yeah. Shout out Matt Christian. Great comment. Cody, what's yours?
Okay. Batsuano 123. Try reading One Out. It gives off Death Note vibes, and we can call it Volume 1 Out. That's a tag for me. And there we go.
It's a tag for me.
Have you looked it up, or do you know? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it's kind of like Death Note.
Fuck you, man. I've never heard of the series. It's a series that I'll check out. I'll look up. I'll see kind of what it's about. Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what the art style is. My comment while Megan's looking that up is
they play volleyball.
Baseball.
Can I see it?
Oh yeah, that's One Out.
Can I see it? I mean, the cover looks cool, but it's not much to really go off.
Well, what do you expect her to show you?
Oh, that looks cool. That looks like Ice Shield 21, one of the characters, but a baseball player instead of a football player.
Wait, then how a baseball story that gives off Death Note vibes?
That's kind of interesting, right?
All right.
Maybe in the psychological sense.
We'll look into it. We're definitely going to look into it. We still have to look into Space Brothers, too. Speaking of recommendations, we got another recommendation for another volume done, which is from 17 Clop. And their comment is, I'd love to see you guys review and potentially do a volume done of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Which, as far as names go, that's great.
Whoa.
That's a home run. I don't know if it was the same person that recommended reading that series to us, but I feel like we've gotten that recommendation
I feel
before.
like, too, because it's very distinctive name.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and the art style, it was not.
And I hate it.
It was not what I was expecting.
Is it cute?
It's more. At least the covers that I saw were they leaned a little more on the cute side.
Sorry.
But I don't know. I haven't heard. It's another series I haven't really heard of, and I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about. So it looked cool. The name has me, but I think we have a few series that we're going to look into, and some few series that we potentially might do volume ones or volume dones of. And thank you guys. We're adding those to our list. And if you can think of any others to add to our list, let us know in the comments down below. Before we go, shout out to our Patreon members. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We love you. You guys are the fucking best. And if you're not a Patreon member, we love you too. I think
Whoa. What's this mood,
I think I'm just trying to think of, I always get to this point in the episode where I'm like, did I forget something? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Is this a joke?
No.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if I forgot anything. I want to make sure that we thanked our Patreon members. I want to make sure that we told people that they can become a Patreon member if they go to patreon.com/volume1pod.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I want to make sure that I remember that people should leave a comment and like and subscribe to the channel. I want to make sure people know that we appreciate all of them and for watching and for listening
every week. Brand new episode
every week. And I want to let everybody else know that there's nothing else to do now but to get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never changes, which today is...
I like the How You Like Me Tao.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
I was trying to think of something else.
She did, though.
That's not true.
Tell me why.
Oh.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Or, that's all I got.
Tao, do the
Tao,
other
Tao.
Okay.
No, it's what was yours?
How do you like me, Tao?
How
do you like me, Tao? Okay.
Flower power.
How do you like me, Tao?
I like How Do You Like Me Tao. I just wanted to say it.
Can go here.
As always, for real. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
How do you like me, Tao?